And in a move that is likely to come as a big relief to the LGBT community, Union Finance Minister P Chidambaram has said that the Home Ministry would be writing to police stations and across states to not persecute homosexuals after the Supreme Court verdict. In an exclusive interview to Headlines Today, Chidambaram said that the judgment has not been in sync with the times.
The Supreme Court has backed away from decriminalizing homosexuality. What does the government intend to do about this? Joining us now, Union Finance Minister, Senior Congress Leader, Mr. P Chidambaram. Do you believe, Mr. Chidambaram, that this decision by the Supreme Court is a retrograde decision? And what does your government intend to do about it, sir?
Well, I think it's a wrong decision. I was very saddened by the decision. It requires to be reconsidered by the Supreme Court. And I think there are ways in which we can get the Supreme Court to reconsider it. Failing that, there is always the legislative option of amending Section 377. It is a slow process. It is a more difficult process given the configuration in Parliament and given the disorder in Parliament. I think we should try non-legislative option, failing which we should make it clear we will go through the legislative option.
Do you think that a legislation decriminalizing homosexuality in Indian Parliament will ever be able to get a majority given the social moods and the traditional values that people believe they have?
I think so. I think if it comes to a vote in Parliament, we will be able to carry the vote, even in this Lok Sabha. I think so.
BJP is being very ambivalent. Narendra Modi hasn't spoken. They're challenging you to call an all-party meeting. I was in Central Hall before coming here, and one of the senior-most BJP leaders said, you had 10 years to bring about a legislation. Why didn't you?
There was no need for legislation. 5 or 6 years ago, the High Court read down Section 377. And when an appeal was filed by the private party, government's position was, we will not file an appeal. We support the judgment of the High Court. If the Supreme Court had upheld the High Court judgment, there would be no need for legislation. Reading down sections is a well-accepted rule of interpretation, the well-accepted and well-known, well-settled rule of interpretation. In any event, until the Supreme Court decision came, there was no question of contemplating legislation.